Welcome into the Brooks Bench with your host, Brooke, aka Shiggy, and my co-host, Brooke.
What's up, y'all?
And Megan.
What's up?
Let's all give a warm welcome back to Brooke.
It's been a minute. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know the last time I was here.
Well, I told everyone you'd be on this episode, so I'm glad you're here.
Oh, I'm glad that I could follow through with that
so
word.
Glad.
Because I was really at the last second gonna be like, I'm kind of busy right now.
No, I was like, you guys are going to be here, so I'm glad you showed up. If you're new here.
And then all the comments were like, no.
Dang it. Unsubscribe.
Not watching next week.
All right, if you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, follow us on all social media, and join our Discord in the link in our description. If you guys are new here, we do cover the week-by-week recap of NCAA women's college basketball. We cover upsets, and then just any top 25 matchup. But first, we're going to start it off with some news. News is short. Oregon, I jinxed it. I jinxed it again, Brooke. Last week, there's always a late game where we record before the late game. And I said, well, unless Oregon upsets Baylor, Baylor's a ranked team, there's no other upsets, right? Well, Oregon did indeed upset Baylor. So congratulations, Oregon.
I say this every year, so if you're new to it, Shiggy's the jinx of the group. So get used to it.
Yeah. So congratulations, Oregon. You're welcome. Any Oregon fans out there. But that win is actually their first ranked win since February of 2023. That's how strong my powers are. So again, you're welcome, Oregon. Madison Connor from TCU made 9 threes, which is the most by a player nationally so far in a single game this season. She's also tied for 7th most all time by a Big 12 player in a single game. TCU, we will be talking about you later. Brooke, I'm glad you're here for this episode because it's going to be funny.
I know. I've been watching snippets of them.
Oh, yeah. They're back. Juju is getting her own docu-series on NBC and Peacock. It's called On the Rise, Juju Watkins. First 2 episodes premiere on November 23rd. I will be watching. Good for her. Get the bag, girl. And also, she passed Caitlin Clark as the fastest Power 4 player to reach 1,000 career points. Brooke, me and Meg talked about this last week. Do you think Juju will break the all-time scoring record?
If she doesn't declare early.
Interesting. Okay.
Probably.
But if she goes all 4 years, if she plays all 4 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the USC team is, honestly, I know, I really like the Iowa team, so don't come for me, but, the USC team is 100 times better than the Iowa team is. The talent-wise,
yeah.
Iowa had, the personality and, the grittiness. USC is just dominant this year. So, if it stays like that, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. It'd be cool to see it, back-to-back, well, in 4-year span, in 4 years if Juju does do it, right? And then Baylor, they did lose Jana Van Geitenbeek. Hope I said that right. To torn ACL. So, short news. I did want to point out a standout performance. Have you guys been watching Harvard?
I've been not watching.
But hearing about them.
Yeah.
Harmony Turner. 41 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 60% from the field, 63% from 3-point, which was a program record for her. And then she followed it up the last game, 38 points, 6 steals, 3 rebounds, 2 assists versus Maine. Keep an eye out. I'd love to see it. But, I mean, no one really talks about really any Ivy Leagues, and so it's good to highlight. She's a senior this year. I think Meg, you said she was an underclassman, but she is a senior. I wanted to confirm that. She's a senior. Okay, with all that said, it's time for the week 2 recap. Like I said, we'll be going over the AP Top 25 matchups and upsets. I jinxed it again. I said there wasn't a lot of upsets. And then Sunday, upset here, upset there. So we're back. But let's go over the AP Top 25. We had Indiana, Creighton, and Florida State all dropping out of the top 25, all bad losses. Indiana lost to Harvard, Creighton lost to South Dakota State, and Florida State lost to Illinois. New to the poll, Illinois, obviously, Stanford and Oregon. I was honestly surprised Stanford just popped their way in, but they did go 3-0.
But their stats were off the charts from shooting percentages, but they're about to be off the top 25.
I know, I saw it.
They're going to come and go a lot.
Exactly. Exactly. And then Oregon, obviously, with their big win over Baylor, I understand why they're in the top 25. Biggest risers of the week, we have Maryland up 7 spots, Kansas State up 3. But I mean, we talked about a little last week. It's like the rank 23 to 25, they're going to be in and out. Like we're going to see new people every week. So I'm kind of not surprised. I know people were saying put Harvard in there, put TCU in there, especially after today. I'm sure we're going to see TCU, honestly. Is there any other teams you guys have seen? Because I mean, there's just so many games. I feel like I'm behind this year. Any other teams that you guys noticed that maybe should be in the top 25 that I didn't mention?
I don't think so.
Those
No.
last couple spots are always hard. I feel like you
Yeah.
know, when they vote on it, they just put people there.
Yeah, it's too early. Like UNC
Yeah.
is going to drop far after this week. Like there's just like TCU. You're right. Will probably be up
I think
there.
they
I
will
mean,
be.
shoot, who even knows? The Hoosiers might come up sometime. So
I
like
know, yeah.
it's going to be in and out a lot. It's too early.
Agreed. But okay, let's get into the recap. So we had UConn defeating UNC 69 to 58. We had our top performers, Paige Beckers, 29 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Sarah Strong, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 blocks. And then for UNC, we had India Navarre, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals. I did watch a little bit of this game. Honestly, UNC kind of fumbled it at the end. They came back from like 20 down, and they just were not taking advantage of their opportunities at all. They could have had this game a lot closer, honestly. But it's the Paige Becker show. I'm concerned without AZ Fudd. I mean, you know, they have Fudd, Patterson, and DeCharme out right now. But right now, she needs someone else to step up. Sarah Strong's doing well for a freshman, but again, still freshman. There's not that second, you know, Batman, Robin,
Yeah.
you know, or 1A, 1B kind of thing. And, you know, down the stretch later in the season, I see where that will take a toll. But getting AZ Fudd back will be definitely a huge help for Paige. But Paige is just so efficient.
Yeah,
Speaking of Paige, no, go ahead.
This game was supposed to be like a good battle test for UConn, and clearly
Yeah.
it wasn't. Like UNC fumbled a little bit, but also like
Yeah.
shows you how dominant Paige is still.
But before I forgot to mention, speaking of Paige Beckers, did you guys see the draft lottery?
Dallas.
I don't like it.
I had a strong feeling for some reason it'd be Dallas, but
I don't like it.
I don't want her in Dallas. I don't like that.
LA's
matchup.
would have been the best spot. I would have liked her in LA. So, Megan, do you like Dallas? I don't see it
No,
working.
not
How's
really.
it gonna work?
I think I think everyone wanted her to go to the Sparks because, you know, that would have been a young team that, you know, potentially could be a dynasty moving forward. But yeah.
It's not gonna work. It's gonna work because she's Paige Beckers and she's good, and Dallas has talented players as well. But
Dallas is probably going to make moves this year. I feel like we're going to see a whole new Dallas team.
well, they
next
better
year.
be better. They're getting Paige Beckers.
We should see a whole new WNBA. As
Oh my God,
there's a lot of free agents. So.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. This is gonna be a crazy coming
the
season.
WNBA is not going to like have like a routine for the next couple of years of the expansion teams and all these good college players coming in, and then it's going to get real good.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
gonna be
it,
crazy.
though.
I do too.
Shake it all up.
Shake it up.
Agreed.
I agree. Okay, sorry. Back to our regular scheduled program. UNC. Yeah, UNC. Deja Kelly left y'all, and I'm not trying to hate. India Navarre stepped up in your place, but Alyssa Utsby fell off. Denarski got in early foul trouble, which hurt them. I don't know. To me, because I watched part of the game, they looked like they settled for a lot of threes. They couldn't get in the paint and score. It's just, I don't know. UNC's missing something. I don't know. Did you guys end up watching that game? Or was it a midday game? It might have been a midday.
It was a little bit early, but I only watched the first half. I didn't get to watch the second half.
Yeah,
it was good. It was like a 3 p.m. start or something weird where most of it was like the end of the workday.
Yeah.
It's just like UNC has the same like chaotic stress of like kind of just being the too scrappy instead of sometimes strategic, and then Paige just dominating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, UNC will probably still be in the top 25, but I mean, after watching them, maybe it was just a down game and they're going against UConn, but I don't know. I think they still need someone to step up for them.
It's too early. I'm still rooting for UConn or for UNC. I always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Well, gonna be rough. No, I'm saying.
It will be.
Over to Kentucky, number 20, upsets Louisville at 18. This is actually Kentucky's first win against Louisville since 2015. Kenny Brooks, baby.
Is it just me or like do you guys have like your reservations about Kentucky because of the move? I like can't get on board.
It's because our small hate for Kenny Brooks transferred.
I just look at this team and I look at Virginia. I just think they're Virginia Tech.
They're Virginia
That's
Tech.
all.
No, I will.
They just change names.
But the thing is about Kentucky, when we were watching them, the big depth is better. They have good bigs. They only had Kidley at Virginia Tech. The only thing is they are the same as Virginia Tech. They ride their starters all 40 plus minutes. They'll ride only maybe a couple people off the bench. Their rotations are very small. They're slow. They like to set up a play.
Okay, but then here's my question with that, right? Like if Kentucky has a bigger depth, like for Coach Brooks, like is that a recruiting issue on his side or is that a Virginia Tech college recruiting issue? Like it wasn't like he was at Virginia Tech one and done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to move to a team with better depth. Okay, well, where's the issue at?
I don't know. Do you want to go to Virginia Tech or would you rather go to Kentucky?
Dude, they're both in the South. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're from different areas, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe it's because Kentucky's known for basketball or the men's side anyway.
That's true.
You know,
That's
and
fair.
then you get that atmosphere. Virginia Tech, I mean, not to knock them, they did good in women's basketball. They probably do good in other sports, but you know, the big kind of basketball, football, yada yada. But with that said, top performers, Georgia Amore, 19 points, 9 assists, 2 steals. Tiani Key, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks. And then for Louisville, we had Amari Berry, 14 points.
She scored all 14 in like the second half.
On threes that kept them in the game, basically, to force overtime, right? Mm-hmm. Kentucky, but like I think you said it, Brooke, reservations about Kentucky, yes. Still more concerned for Louisville, honestly, because they lost to Kentucky. I understand there's a big rivalry, so that does play a part. Louisville's a young team. They're going to be good in the future. I understand that. But it's like they have sparks of greatness where they have good guards and they're just like the hot hand, right? Kind of thing. Kind of like NC State. They have all these good guards and you're going to ride the hot hand, basically. Uh-huh. That's kind of how I see Louisville a little bit. But I mean, Kentucky... Who said it? They're like Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. They execute their plays. I like their bigs better here in Kentucky than in Virginia Tech, in my opinion. And then I just think Louisville just needs a leader to step up. That's what I saw in that game. I don't know if either of you guys watched that one.
Yeah, I watched it. Louisville just, I mean, for Amari Berry to come in, she really just like put him back in at the end.
Yeah.
But it looked kind of like a runaway, really. I think with Kentucky, though, the only reason Louisville, like, it was kind of close is because Kentucky still turns the ball over a lot.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah,
they turned the ball over a lot, and they were beating themselves. Because if it wasn't for that, Louisville probably wouldn't have been in the game, honestly.
So what you're saying is it's literally just Virginia's named Kentucky.
Well, yeah.
It is
crazy.
They do similar, very, very similar things.
Well, and it makes me worried though, because when Louisville at the end was pushing to like, get back in it and make a run, then Kentucky goes back to that bad call play by Kenny Brooks, where I don't know what he tells them in their timeouts, but all of a sudden they just jack up bad shots. Seriously, it's like, oh my gosh.
You know what's funny? Didn't I say at some point last year, like, I'm so glad this is the last year I get to watch Virginia Tech, and then they moved in.
Yeah.
They're back in the different colors
and everything.
Here we are, baby.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last year. Here we go. Over to Indiana, upsetting Stanford at 24. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I really think Stanford's was like, okay, we don't really have anyone else to put in the top 25. Stanford did well last week. Here you go. Indiana was ranked at one point last, week 1. They kind of, I don't know. They did well. Their top performers, Chloe Moore McNeil, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. Shea Suzuki, that sounds right. Yep, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Nunu Agara, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. One of the reasons Stanford probably lost this game, they shot 18% from 3. Okay, that's not good, everyone. Indiana shot 47% from 3. Pretty close in field goals. Indiana shot 49%, while Stanford shot 40. Turnover ratio was pretty similar. And then, free throw percentage. Stanford has 70%, Indiana at 83. Like I said, I was shocked Stanford was ranked. Brooke, you follow Stanford.
Through the first 3 games, Stanford was shooting 48% or higher from the 3-point.
Oh wow, this is a bad.
So it was stats wise, Stanford was doing really well, and Nunu has stepped up tremendously this year so far. It's been really fun to kind of watch them, and mainly too because I started to pay attention pretty heavily last year.
Yeah.
And so, not having Kiki or Cam this year, Nunu's their next person. Mm-hmm. But in reality, this is probably their first test.
Gotcha.
We thought maybe Gonzaga was going to be that test, but then the twins on Gonzaga aren't there, and Gonzaga doesn't look as they did last year. Mm-hmm. So this is their first test, and it is their first road game. So I think a lot of factors came into play with that.
Makes sense.
Not that it's an excuse, but it'll for sure drop them out of the top 25. But I think probably for both teams, 11 and 10 turnovers, that exposes a lot. So they're young.
I was going to say, is there a lot of returners this year for Stanford, or are people transferred out, right?
There's a good amount.
There's a good amount.
Just looking at that.
There's only 4 seniors though. So it's still fairly, and then Stanford just came in with the second best recruiting class.
Okay. So
on signing day. So yeah, it'll be of course, like I said earlier, this for Stanford, but they have some really good glimmering moments.
Yeah. And new conference. So
yeah. And new conference. And the ACC, as we all know, it's one of my favorite basketball conferences, that's for sure. But
agreed. No, I agree. And last upset of the week. Again, unless I jinx it in the 2 late games tonight, if something happens. TCU upsets NC State, ranked number 13. And let me tell you, Brooke, Sedona Prince.
Okay, listen, I was just looking at this and you were talking about, I think, Kentucky and Louisville. I forgot she was playing because I'm telling you she's 35 years old. So I just don't.
She is, in fact, 24.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, Sedona, 31 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists. Haley Van Lith, 18 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds. Isaiah James for NC State, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Let me tell you, Sedona was cooking. And you know what? I have to put in perspective because I'm not trying to make fun of her age or yada yada, but football players will redshirt 100 times and they're 25-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds and they make that joke. These broadcasters out here. I'm just saying. I was dang, Sedona looks good. And I'm okay, she is 24 and they all probably are 18 to 20-year-olds. So experience plays a part, right?
Well, she's also towering everybody.
She's huge.
That girl is big.
Yeah. No. That's it was a mismatch for NC State. They could not stop her. She was cooking them. And Haley Van Lith.
How tall is she? She's got to be over 6'5". Let me look it up real fast.
Yeah, fact check that. But Haley Van Lith looks so much more confident in this offense with TCU. The pick and roll with Sedona was working all night.
She's 6'7".
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the league, Sedona. No, yeah. And I'm just saying, Sedona, hey, she's not bad. I don't know.
No, she's not. She's just extra. That's the best way I'm going to put it.
But do you think Sedona Prince will be drafted to the WNBA? Someone put me on the spot and asked me that, and I said, maybe. With the new
for some of these teams, Atlanta maybe. Or somebody, they could use somebody
6'7".
You're going to be dealing with a lot of controversial things, but so is the WNBA at this point. So it's
who cares?
She probably will, but maybe round 3 or get signed to a training camp and.
It's one of those sign and drops for me.
Simon drops. I think she 6'7". If she
doesn't
declares,
make it out of the 12-day window to get into the.
I
into the
think
season.
maybe. I think I also projected like a third round, maybe late second round pick, depending on who enters the draft.
I honestly wouldn't be shocked if she kind of did that, like Gabby Williams. I'm gonna go play
Overseas.
in like Uzbekistan, Turkey, China, like kind of over there and go play.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked at that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if she continues to have a consistent season like this, I mean, this is against NC State, a ranked team.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. If she does this, she's going quickly. 100%.
Second round. Second round.
Top of the third round.
It all depends who puts their name into the draft. I just want to temper it.
We're haters.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, but anyways, NC State, like I said, lacking bigs. Sedona dominated them. Their guards are all good. They have a plethora. Okay, we said it in the preview. They had to replace Mimi Collins and I can't remember the other girl's name. Dang it, it's off the top of my head. And they were consistently good for them, and they haven't found that yet. But yeah, let me tell you how bad it was for NC State. TCU had 42 points in the paint. So.
That's a great stat line. I've been saying this for a while, and I'm going to go on my tangent a little bit, and we can bring back, I don't even know what we called it, Brooks something.
Brooks Rant.
No, I thought it was something maybe first. I don't know. We'll have to, somebody pull those back up. Yeah. Keep driving into the paint. I'm like, the threes are cool, but like, I want to see somebody go in, grab the foul, make your free throw shots, like slow the game, take that breather. Like there's too many dumb shots at the three that go nowhere. Half the time they're being airballed, so you look even more dumb. Just drive, like get the foul. Especially if your team is in bonus. Why are you shooting
I know,
three?
I hate that.
Drive the damn ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. It literally just infuriates me so much.
I would have to agree with you, and I would say that with UNC, but I just think UNC lacked something to get to the paint. And also Sarah Strong was there in the middle for UConn, so I mean, like.
But it's like these refs are so whistle happy. Like,
oh my God, yes.
I don't care if you're the smallest one going against Sedona Prince, because clearly she's the biggest one on the court. Like, do it.
And speaking of Sedona, I'm going to be, they play Notre Dame in South Carolina. I believe that's what they said on the broadcast today. So I'm excited to see how they match up. That's going to be fun. That is definitely going to be fun.
South Carolina's just dominant again.
Oh my God. You know what, though? They are like, they had a close game. Who was it with? I think it was Michigan. And that one kind of concerned me a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. But I mean, yeah, they returned most of their players. South Carolina's just South Carolina. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys. Let us know how you guys feel, because this was crazy. It wasn't crazy up until Sunday, which is today, the day we're recording. And then I had to type all these notes like, oh, shoot, there was like 3 upsets in a row. So
and I know we usually only talk about upsets, but I got to put out there, Ohio State almost lost to Belmont.
Well, LSU.
I saw that.
Did you see LSU almost lost to like, who was that? Who did LSU almost lose to too? It was like Kansas State.
Yeah, but they ended up killing them in the 4th.
I know, but they kept it close. That was also concerning. You're right. That could be your snippet, Megan. Close games of the week with Megan.
Ooh,
are you concerned? Because I am.
Oh, there you go, Megan. Look at Megan. Made her own bit. All right, Megan.
I like that.
Next week with Megan. Close games of the week.
Make sure you write the notes.
Almost, gotcha. Almost upsets of the week with Megan. There you go, Meg.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I wasn't really happy, but
we'll
okay.
We'll get you the spotlight and everything.
Yeah, we'll have a little. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we'll have a little snippet, little dun dun. See, now you're making me mess up that one. But alrighty. We'll look forward to that snippet with Megan next week. Thank you, Meg, for contributing. Yep. But thank you for coming in. Welcome to the show. Stay, subscribe. We'll be back next week with another recap, week 3, upsets, AP Top 25 matchups, and the AP Top 25 poll. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.